Welcome to the Main Street Business Inside Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wagner, Chief Program Officer at Main Street America, a nonprofit leading a collaborative movement dedicated to strengthening communities through place-based economic development and community preservation. Each week, join me as I travel the country and take a deep dive into the personal journeys of downtown and neighborhood entrepreneurs, the stories that far too often go unnoticed and unheard. Whether you're a small business owner who wants to learn from your peers or a community leader looking to better support your local business base, Main Street Business Insights is here to provide you with the tools, strategies, and personal stories to help you and all of your Main Street businesses thrive. So subscribe now and tune in every Wednesday to get inspired by the individuals driving our communities forward. Bienvenidos, and welcome to another episode of the Main Street Business Inside Podcast. Roberto, my friend here, is laughing, of course, because my Spanish is pretty weak.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm trying.
I'm going to try my English, too.
But so glad to be here in San Germán, Puerto Rico, with my new amigo, Roberto Melendez. He's the owner of Pórticos restaurant here along the plaza in downtown San Germán. And I'm here as part of a project that really my amazing colleagues have been working on at Main Street America, where we've been engaged in community planning efforts in support of disaster mitigation in 5 cities in the southern part of Puerto Rico. If you've got your geography hats on, I want to really extend a special thanks to our partners and friends and really supporters of this at Vivienda and Foundation Puerto Rico and Atkins. They've been great partners for us, and we couldn't do this without, obviously, their support. As many of you know, we are seeing and experiencing really more tragic events all across the globe with natural disasters and weather activity like no other time. And there are a few places, I think, around the world that have experienced more tragic events in a short period of time than Puerto Rico. And I thought we would use this podcast while I was here with my colleague is really a great opportunity for our listeners, our small business owners out there, our community leaders to really learn firsthand about, you know, how to perhaps prepare, how to think about both from the community and the small business side, really around this, preparation to recovery that every business and community leader must go through. And so I'm sitting with one of the leaders of that. Whether he knows it or not, he certainly is and has really played a central role in thinking through and working on these issues. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome Roberto to the show. Welcome.
Thanks a lot. My name is Roberto Melendez. I'm an architect, also study marketing and human resources. I have a love for history as my preparation as an architect. So what better place to be in San Germán? San Germán is full of architecture, the roads, the museum, the churches. So this is the place if you want to do something as I dream of, to do a business. This is the place. People ask me about why you as an architect are you doing this? And 2 answers for that. The place was available for rent.
Number one,
it spent like 4 years closed. And then there was a challenge. Maybe in October 2019, I was talking with my wife, spending time with her, and she just asked me a question, when?
And you're like, when what?
When what? Really, Matt, that was when what? And she just answered just like, truly, when you're going to do your business, your restaurant, you always have been cooking with your friends, you always have been attending bars, so this is the time for you to design your own business plan as an architect, with a scope of marketing, so that started ignited fire on my mind, maybe.
Yeah.
So I went to my table. I always have a table drawing beside my bed.
You're always doing sketches, I can imagine.
Grab the table, grab some papers, and just start drawing. So I got the carpet here. This
is the first?
This is the process.
The first evolution.
This is the first process.
Look at that.
Of developing what is Pórticos 1600. You don't see a lot of drawing. You see a lot of words. Those are designing ideas, sketches, and after that I presented this to my wife. And she said,
was this like your version of a business plan, Roberto?
No. And she goes, okay, that's fine. And what are you going to give to San Germán, to the community?
Oh, that's interesting.
Another curve she told me.
Yes.
So
I can see this relationship right now.
So then I grabbed my computer, put it on side, start searching, start reading, looking for historic moments in San Germán, because if I'm going to base something in this historic building, has to be attached to the history of the building, maybe the year or the next 50 years.
But some connection either from the past, but also with the thought of looking to the future, sounds like.
So if you go to San Germán, search San Germán, which is the first picture that you get in the searching.
I'm going to guess the church.
The church, Portacelli. And I got it. I said, okay, I already got Pórticos. Pórticos means entrance, access. Portacelli is portar del cielo, la entrada al cielo. So I got this link, but I cannot use the name of the church to the name of the business. So, name and second name, Pórticos 1606. So that's how it started. That's how I was inspired to gather the concept and to develop what is already today of 5 years of experience, yes. Pórticos 1606.
When you were going through this process, I mean, you're an architect, you're a professional, like you've done work for the university or continue to, I mean, you're big. And whether you know it or not, in the architectural field. And so now, like, to switch, it sort of uses a different part of your brain to think business. What was that like for you to kind of switch, or did it not? Did it seem natural for you?
It's natural because I studied marketing first.
Ah, okay.
And then your preparation as an architect, you can design everything. Even from a key change
yes.
to a chair to what we see already yes. in our background here. So it's easy. Now you are designing for serving and hospitality. That's what you're...
I like how you made that connection on the design front.
Right.
Yes.
If you go to the meaning of Pórticos, it means access and entrance. It's the access to the Caribbean. It's the access to the flavors of the Caribbean. And if you see the first drawing here, I draw the little flags, and it's a gallery of the pillars of the Caribbean islands, the big islands, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. That's the easy part and the connection that you're asking me, Matt.
Yes.
Is at ease.
Now, I know on the video cast, obviously you can see this. For those on the podcast, on the audio only, the interesting thing that Roberto probably doesn't know is, and for you Main Streeters out there, is the 4-point approach. Roberto worked in the 4-point approach in some ways with the business concept. I'm always fascinated because obviously we travel around a lot, talk to many small businesses and communities, and they're always different. As much as we think things might be similar, there's always unique challenges and opportunities. And I wonder, when you think about doing business and running a business in Puerto Rico, what are some of the biggest hurdles you've had to overcome?
Hurdles here?
Yeah, hurdles.
Government, permits.
Maybe things are very similar.
Yeah. Infrastructure. Those are the biggest hurdle. Power shortage, water shortage. Those are the biggest orders. In me, as an architect, I know about maybe the permits.
Yeah.
That is an advantage. I did my own permits.
Okay.
I know a little bit about the rules and how much time that I have to make the process and inspection. If they don't come, they have to give me the permit. So I know that those shortcuts maybe, and that's an advantage for me.
Yeah.
But the people that don't know, and the government will delay everything.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to, but it's the natural process.
Did you feel that there was, if you took off your architect hat and you didn't have that background, do you feel like, is there an adequate support system for other small business owners, entrepreneurs that might want to do something similar, or you kind of got to figure it out?
Well, here in the municipality of San Germán, they have an office for that.
Okay.
There's some of the restaurants that started after me.
Okay.
They had problems with maybe a professional they had in contract, and they went to the municipality, and the problems were solved.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage that here in San Germán they have that in the office.
Now you mentioned, infrastructure, from utilities, maybe water, sewer, stormwater, sewer, or whatever. How have you thought about how you could mitigate some of that? What have you done in response?
Well, can I go maybe to the disaster?
Yes.
And then go to how deep we get
please.
out of that?
Yeah, please.
So, everybody knows about Maria, 2017. But this business started at 2020. It began designing in 2019. And when we got, I was in California, I got here to Puerto Rico in January, already started the earthquakes.
From one to another.
From one to another, you got the earthquakes, so people are afraid to get out. People are staying at home. And not short after that, COVID. So we have a shutdown in March. The whole island. I was painting here with my business partner. We both work at the university.
Okay.
So we were painting the building. We get a message. You have to pick up your computers. You go remotely. But it's COVID-19, and you have to stay at your home. So the business is closed.
So now you have the pandemic to deal with.
With reparations undergo, billings adding up. So we took advantage of that time. We set meetings at my home. We studied the menu. We practiced the menu with the chef. After the time was more flexible with the COVID rules.
Yes.
So we got meetings here on the restaurant with friends, private lunches. And that was an advantage on COVID. And June 10 or June 8, we opened the doors for Pórticos, but it was only to pick up.
Okay, you just had pickup
service. If you
service.
go to upstairs, you can still see the stickers. I left them on purpose on the floor because I want to remember
for the distance.
The distance
spacing.
And says, here's your order line. This is your pickup line.
Yeah.
And it's on the floor right now. If you go upstairs, Matt, you will see that. So that's
the legacy.
That's the time to remember where we were only maybe. My daughter was at the phone. I was at the line packaging, and my business partner was in the kitchen. 3 employees managed to open Pórticos. There were 88 orders the first day. So that's a good start. After that, after COVID, we did open the business for full assistance and within the rules. We tried 2 years. So now we are in 2022.
Yes.
Hurricane Fiona. So we got earthquake, we got COVID. And now, as the time settled, we were more tranquil.
It's almost like you felt like maybe I've got a new norm here, and I settle in.
Let me go to the wave. This is great. Business is good. And the business was still changing because as you develop a business, it maybe takes you like 5 years to really know where you're going or the changes that you have to make.
Yeah, what kind of shifts or adaptations do you need to make in the business?
Equipment, because then it came Fiona. And Fiona was not hard as Maria in winds, but in rain, it hit us hard.
Okay.
So we have this underground infrastructure here
which is where we're recording right now.
Yeah. So the electricity infrastructure goes underground.
Okay.
That was underwater. As protection, breakers went out.
Shut off because it was wet.
Shut off.
Yes. Those things.
So nobody knows where the breakers were. New municipality, government, they didn't know.
Oh wow.
So when the electrical company came and started bringing up the breakers, that street turned on, the other street turned on with the hospital.
Yes.
And the two plazas stayed dark.
So the whole plaza out in front of Pórticos was dark.
Dark as a mouth of a wolf.
Yes. It's a good way to put it.
So that lasted 4 weeks.
How long?
4 weeks.
4 weeks?
4 weeks with no generator. So, as I told you before, there was an event that we bent the knee. We were here down here. I got tripped.
Yeah.
We were here, and Javier, he's the head cook. He was crying on that corner because we were discarding all the food.
Yeah, because you had no refrigeration.
So that make a decision. You have to adapt.
Yeah.
You have to adapt. You have to be flexible. You have to make decisions quickly. So in that moment, I went home on my pickup, put the generator of my home, went to my neighbor. That's the networking that you have to be
yes.
do. He's an electrical engineer. We put how do you call it?
Like a transformer? Like a temporary?
Temporary
yeah.
to make the connection.
Yeah.
And we managed to do times lapse for the air conditioner.
So that you could use the power correctly.
Yeah,
you know?
So we do maybe 10 hours for the fridge and the coolers. Then we managed to call all the community. We are going to be opening only a few hours. The menu is going to be 2 plates.
Yeah. Simplify everything.
And we are going to be attending personally the owners, no employees. And for a short period, we're going to have air conditioning so you can feel comfortable. You have a place to relax, a place to be safe, a place to eat well. So the people responded. Maybe that was done as if I go back to the COVID era,
yes.
we managed to put this as a vaccine center too. We vaccine every restaurant in the area in this restaurant.
So this became almost like a community hub.
And that are things that you have to do to try to be ahead maybe, on top of the game. Start to do those networking with the community, your own business, other business, because all the restaurants didn't have any employee had the vaccine, so they couldn't start their opening.
Yeah, you couldn't get open.
Yeah. So that was the law.
Okay.
So we did the center here, and if I go back to the Fiona era, people responded because of that. Maybe they felt the connection between us, the restaurant, and the place.
One really important aspect of infrastructure is obviously communication. How did you communicate with your employees once you were able to, put together a generator so you could start serving? How did the community know? How did you get, the word out to?
They saw the light.
They what? They saw the light. That's right, because it was dark.
It was dark.
It was dark.
The generator, it was so loud.
Yeah.
It was so loud.
Who is running the generator?
Who's running? It's the only light in the town right now. So
that is amazing.
And then word of mouth.
Yes.
Word of mouth. That's always first communication.
And do you feel that in some ways, and not to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure obviously the food is great and they want to come for great food, but do you think there was a sort of a higher meaning for people to come and gather?
They felt it because maybe I'm not a great talker, but I do write. So I went to the media and I sent a message, open message in the Facebook, in the Google, in the TripAdvisor. And it was an open message to the community. We're doing this. This is happening to us. Please support the restaurant.
Yes.
Please support the restaurant. We're going to be open in a few hours. And it was great because you see the one who has the other business, painting business. He came with the family, everybody. And they spent maybe $300 that night. And then he came another... The owner of the pharmacy with the family, and then spend $300. Then you do $600, maybe $900 in night with 4 hours. Okay, this pays the expenses.
Yes, we can stay open.
We can stay open. We can go through this event.
Yes.
After this, we're gonna have to make serious decisions because this is gonna continue.
Yeah.
And if you see the buildings and historic buildings, it's difficult to put or arrange new scenes as technology to it because you got your barriers.
Yes.
Luckily, after that, we managed to talk to a small business, SBA, and we got a loan.
Okay, so you worked through the Small Business Administration.
We went through that. Okay. We got a loan. And first thing we did, that baby is out there.
The generator.
56 cakes.
Yes.
It runs the whole building.
That seems to be a number one, must-have is backup generation.
If you have the financial support at the beginning,
yes,
my recommendation is you have to
have backup.
If not, you have to pursue it, manage, and save some money because it's going to be an investment that maybe. I don't want to talk about disaster as a good income, but it will help you to go through and your business will thrive.
One of the I think the hallmarks of Main Street businesses is the connection with community, obviously between the small business and the community out there. What was your sense of, I don't want to say obligation, but thinking, okay, I'm here for the community, but also what can I give back to the community? Is there a sense like something you shoulder that's critical that you do as a business owner?
You have to do it. It's part of the business. If you don't do it, you have two types of customers or guests.
Okay.
You got the locals and the tourist visitors, the outside visitors. This is a small island, so everybody can visit.
It's a tourism economy.
Within 2 hours of driving. But if you don't give to the rifle community, if you don't give to the local baseball team, if you don't give with the basketball tradition that we have here in San Germán, and whatever other activities, intra-curricular activities that you want to have outside of your business, you have to be alert, pay attention, maybe what is doing the other business too, maybe learn from them. Their triumph and mistakes too. You have to take both sides. So it's part of the formula to be alert, to be within the community.
Yeah. What have you learned over the last many years of experiencing, natural events and having to shut down, reopen. What are some of the, like, if you could go back, what would you have done differently, or, how would you prepare?
I will have the generator first. Because
generator number one.
Yeah,
check.
We got maybe through so many tough times, but when it came to hit us hard, it did. So because maybe we spent power shortage of 2 days, 1 day, and you can manage that with ice, and if you got your freezer that stays 72 hours. Then you have to move your food or start cooking your food, and so you got methods to go through that. But after the 3, 4, 6, 1 week, you get worried.
Yeah.
And
you call that, you can't band-aid your way through that.
No. So that's, and I remember the first. There's a Mexican restaurant here, and he told me, when you have the money, get the generator. So you have to listen the other business too.
Okay.
You have to. There are people here that maybe have. I have 5 years, but there are people here that have 10 years, 30 years of experience. So you have to visit those other restaurants maybe and establish those networking.
Yeah.
Establish a networking with your suppliers too.
That's a
important.
really good point.
That's important.
Talk about that one a little bit more.
Because you throw the food away, but you owe it. You have to pay it.
Yes. So, and then you need to be resupplied at some point.
So are they going to cut you a break?
Yes.
Are they going to be flexible? Because that's part of the... it's a two-way street. You have to be flexible the two ways. So... They were good, really.
So relationship building with vendors is huge.
They were supportive. They gave us maybe 90 days.
Okay, for terms.
Yep. So that give you that first month of recovery. Then the second month, you're already open full, and then on the third month you start paying the first 30 days. So, and then you do a catch up every week.
Yeah.
So you work for that.
Yeah, those are nervous times.
Yeah, those are. Well, you have to have the support of your family, your friends, your business partner. We have to be willing and strong will of decisions.
Yeah.
To stay maybe tall and focused.
I'm sort of curious. Obviously, you're in the restaurant business, and maybe this isn't as critical, but I'm interested in your views. We see a lot of smaller businesses that maybe haven't fully transitioned or integrated technology into their business, whether it's just being online or the way that they communicate through social media. How has that played a role in your business, especially during perhaps some down times where you're able to leverage technology to communicate or what have you?
We haven't experienced that with maybe the internet.
Yes.
Maybe a short time. Now I'm starting to boost every. I didn't want to do that. I remain maybe 4 years organic.
Okay. In terms of your marketing.
In terms of my marketing, I developed maybe 11,000 followers.
Oh, I thought you were only going to say 11, Roberto.
No,
I'm like, we got work to do.
No, followers the organic way.
Yes, okay. 11,000 organically?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
so
that's impressive.
After this is where we're standing is Barrio Pueblo.
Yes.
This is a product of Pórticos. So if you are willing, you can do another venue. And we're doing this in another venue right now. So this business is different than Pórticos, and that's what opened my eyes to start maybe boosting and paying some money. Someone told me that was here, a guest, you have to put money to make money.
Yeah, you have to make an investment, right?
Yes, you have to money to make money. So again, you have to listen. You have to be
It's around
every detail.
Yes, has a lot of smart people
and
around
maybe
you.
have a book like me and start writing. Keep the ideas for...
Tip number 1, journal. Journal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep your ideas for later. And then you go back, I haven't do that. Let me do it now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. And I think I'd like to I always try to conclude the show with some advice because, I can maybe talk business from an academic sense, but you're living it each and every day. And, if we were sitting around the table with other business owners and we were all going around the table, like sharing, well, what would you suggest? What would be your advice? What have you learned over the years that you think is something you want to share?
You have to plan for the worst in this kind of business. This is a roller coaster business.
Yes.
Your days are up, your days are down. So every time, even if you don't have a disaster, you have to be planning for the worst. You have to develop a strong networking within the community and your suppliers. Have a backup financial backup. If you don't have it, you have to build it.
Yes. To kind of weather this, the colloquial storm.
You have to adapt, be flexible, and diversify.
Yes.
You have to stay, in this business, you cannot stay with the same courses. You have to be open. And here we have a space, a window that we call it, is the PDKI. It's as in English, ask for what you want.
Okay.
So that's the window for the kitchen to be creative, to innovate, how you said that, innovate.
Okay.
And diversify, and then you can go to. You cannot stay on the Caribbean. You can go maybe to Colombia, have a paisa, and then go to Venezuela, go to Brazil, go to Argentina, do different dishes. So you have to be all the time. That's what I like about this. As my career as an architect, it keeps me sharp.
Yes.
Because it keeps me all the time being creative.
Yes.
And it's like a dare to me and a dare to my employees.
Yes.
I drive them crazy. There comes Roberto with another course.
Here he comes again.
He comes with another idea. He's not in the kitchen, but he always comes with another idea.
It's great. Roberto, I can't thank you enough that this advice of, kind of being nimble, agile, get a generator if you can, be prepared for the worst. I think is right, and hopefully you never have to break out that plan, but make sure you've got it
and adapt. You got to adapt.
And adapt, And I think the other big thing that I come away with is the relational aspects. That if you're just staying in your business and you're not engaging not just with your customers but the community and being a part of that community, when times do get tough, who's going to have your back? And I can't thank you enough for joining me on the show and just really lending your advice and knowledge to our other small business owners out there. It's people like you that make a difference every day in your community, but also in the sort of more macro small business community. So thank you so much, Roberto. Really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Matt. Really, thank you. Everybody, come to Puerto Rico.
Come to Puerto Rico.
Pórticos, 1606.
Look them up. It's good. Ciao. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so appreciative of my new friend, Roberto, and his reflections on dealing with disasters through the lens of his community in Pórticos restaurant in San Germán, Puerto Rico. I think it goes without saying that Puerto Rico is really acting as a natural laboratory for insights and understandings as to how to prepare and work through recovery after a disaster. And I'm so thankful for the time that I was able to spend with my colleagues as we work on a resiliency project there, but also the experience of meeting so many
amazing, wonderful small business owners there in those communities. Now, to provide some context, in 2024, there were 27 weather-related or natural disasters with losses totaling more than $1 billion. Now, 27 may not sound a lot, but keep in mind, we're talking about, natural disasters affecting massive geographic areas around the country. I mean, if you just think about like Hurricane Milton or Hurricane Helene, where you've got category, 4 hurricanes that are making landfall perhaps in Florida, but stretching across Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, and affecting massive parts of the country, and many of which perhaps have never experienced or thought they were immune from certain disasters occurring. Or derechos in the Midwest, these, massive high wind events that result in huge damage that this past year affected places all the way from Texas to Florida. And of course, more recently in the news, California wildfires, but, wildfires are hitting, the Great Plains like Nebraska has noticed big surges in wildfire activity over the last few years. So these disasters, as we're learning, are not exclusive to, let's call it, traditional places in which, we thought of them, like, tornado alleys in Oklahoma, perhaps, that now are occurring all over the place. The fact of the matter is these events are increasing, they're getting stronger, and they're impacting more small businesses. There's still so much to learn, and we're going to continue to develop at Main Street America more tools, resources, and guidance on hopefully how to be more adaptable and how to recover more quickly. Now, you can download, as a start, this amazing toolkit we've developed. It's called the Main Street Disaster and Resiliency Toolkit. You can download it at mainstreet.org. It's chock full of, community case studies, templates, advice, solutions, both for communities and small businesses dealing with natural disasters. So that's going to do it for this episode. And as always, if you're a business owner, and likewise to my place professional colleagues out there, I hope this episode has provided plenty of new insights, solutions, and inspiration. And as consumers, please continue to support your local small businesses. And of course, tell their story, folks. They're so important to our local and national economies. And most importantly, they provide and promote quality of living that for the places, we all call home. So for additional resources and past episodes, please check out our Main Street America YouTube channel. We're there. Of course, rate us, review us, add a comment, ask a question. I'm hungry for them. Send them my way, please. And of course, subscribe, okay? That way you're tuned in for the next episode where I'm going to be talking about the pivot. Now, you may remember that word that kind of found its way during the pandemic, but given sort of the economic headwinds or challenges, I think it's time to revisit how to pivot, but also how to stay agile in sort of our uncharted territory. So we're going to be discussing a number of perspective shifts and tips for navigating economic and consumer headwinds as a small business owner. So don't miss it. We'll see you then. And thanks, of course, for all the support.